Okay, so hello and welcome to everyone who is here, um, especially those people watching the recording on YouTube. As per usual, we are now live and we'll give about a good solid 5 minutes for people to join in. And if you're already here, that's a good solid 5 minutes to get comfortable, to find your meditation position, to find your intention, to find your heart, your sincerity in being here. So it's a good 5 minutes. Um, so welcome everyone, and please feel free to get comfortable at this time. And welcome Mr. J. Mr. J, do you have a first name that you would like to use in the server? That's something we encourage. Hello, Wessel and Anna. I hope you're doing well, Anna. And Gosia. Gosia is also here. Welcome to Gosia. Okay, gnaw deep, nav deep, nav. Okay, I'm just gonna do you the favor to change your nickname here to Nav. Glad that you're here, Nav. Okay, I'm just gonna make the announcement, let people know that we're getting ready to go. Our engines are revving. A lot of crashing recently with my Discord app. It's okay. And of course, everyone, hey there, David. And Morgan, nice to see you. Everyone is invited and even encouraged to share their camera so we can all see each other and we feel our community presence, our embodiment. And it can also help us to feel embodied in the space. So one of the things that we deal with here is that it's very easy to leave. It's very easy. All you have to do is click, chip, you're gone. Free ride in. Whereas if you were at a temple or a meditation center and you made that resolution to show up for a teaching or for a community practice, you're not going to get up and leave after 10 minutes because because you've got some gas or something like that. You're going to sit there and you're going to stay because you feel embodied, right? You feel you're really in that space. So when we share our cameras in that way, we can get to know each other a little bit better, see each other, and also feel that embodiment and that accountability. Accountability. Okay, Gosia, nice to see you. And David, and welcome, Phoenix. and Bubble Master, and Lucas, welcome, and Nathan, and Future, and Rizzy. Great. So we're going to begin in just a few moments. So make sure that you are in your meditation position, comfortable, stable meditation position. Your shoulders can be back, your chest open, so that your lungs can breathe easily. And just in the same way that if you put a cup down, if you put your cup of coffee down on a unbalanced rock, right, a jagged kind of rock, yeah, it's going to fall over. You're not going to have your cup of coffee. So in the same way that if you don't find a stable, comfortable position for your meditation, then you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to really be able to meditate. So it's very important that we give a lot of attention to finding a comfortable, stable position. And for each one of us, that will be a unique experience. Um, but we give a lot of attention to that. Okay, great. And I see Susan and WMD and Jack and Janelle over on YouTube, watching through the YouTube channel. That's great. And what's your name? And Marulo and Marisol. Marulo, Marisol, here at the temple, here sitting in front of me. All right. So we're all gathered up together for this purpose of listening to the teachings of Ajahn Brahm, deep wisdom teachings. And why do we want to do that? Well, we want to transform our suffering. We want to become awakened. We want to become enlightened, right? We want to wake up from this dream of miserableness and unskillfulness and just kind of moving our hands around in the dark and hoping that we get a hold of something good. But we really want to find a sense of skillfulness and wisdom in how we live our lives and to apply it. So that's what we're gathered here to do. And it's not vague, it's not general, a general thing that we're here to do. We're not going to the grocery store. We're really showing up at this moment. One of the supports that we have right now in doing that is a large gathering of people, a community of people that are not vague, they're not ghosts, they're not profile pictures on a message board. These are fellow human beings who are gathered together for the same purpose. And we're going to be doing this activity together live. You can't do anything if you're not live. Even if you watch this 10 years from now, when you do it, when you join, it'll be live. Okay, so there's a certain kind of support and motivation and empowerment that comes from being together in a community, a certain kind of energy when we are practicing together, right? So we want to really take advantage of that. We don't want to waste that. So, how we usually start these events, our Buddha Book Club, is we first take a few minutes to meditate. So, make sure that you are in your meditation position, comfortable and stable position. You can put your hands on your knees, or you can put your hands in your lap. Closing your eyes, taking a deep breath. Maybe 2 or 3 deep breaths. Being with what's happening right now, showing up to it, facing this experience, this moment, this body, this mind. And our way of facing it, our way of being with it is quite simple. We simply focus on the breath. Focus isn't the best word. Be aware that you are breathing. Be aware that the body is here. Start to notice more and more what it's like to breathe, what it's like to have a body, what it's like to sit still. If you notice something uncomfortable, good. If you notice some kind of thought, good. Just breathing, just noticing, just sitting here. Fully opening ourselves up to this moment, this lived experience. Let gravity do its work. The breath finds a natural rhythm. The body becoming more still, more relaxed, more calm, more aware. Just breathing and being aware. Feel closely whatever it is that's happening right now. Don't shy away from this experience. Don't go looking for a better experience. At this moment, just breathing and being aware. So, in these moments, we practice to face whatever is happening without judgment, without confusion, just facing it. Just breathing, just noticing what is happening moment by moment by moment by moment. Getting out of our own way, stepping to the side. Let the mind run around, jump around. Let our preferences run wild. Let there be a full-on protest in our mind. I'm not going to be here anymore. It's time for movies. It's time for cheese. Just breathe, just be aware, just face whatever is happening right now without reacting to it. And when reactivity does come up, notice that. Continuously noticing, continuously refreshing and restarting. Just breathing, just being aware. So let's continue now with our reading of Ajahn Brahm's book, The Art of Disappearing. You're welcome to listen and meditate. You're also welcome to read along, and we'll have periods of time where there's an opportunity to share or ask questions. Okay, so let's begin now with our continuation of Ajahn Brahm's book, The Art of Disappearing. And we are on the section of replace willpower with wisdom power. It is very difficult to encourage and inspire people without also frustrating them. You want to describe the fruits of the practice, profound experiences like strong concentration, deep, peaceful meditation, and certain kinds of enlightenment, to give people some inspiration. It's like a travel agent telling you how nice it's going to be when you get to the deep meditation hotel in this great resort called enlightenment. But people often look at those things and take them as goals to be achieved. They feel inadequate to the task and then experience frustration instead of inspiration. For this reason, it is important to describe not just the goal and some of the beautiful experiences you can expect along the way, but also the obstacles to getting there. So when frustration, boredom, or anger come up, don't struggle. Just stay with whatever it is and then see what happens. When you are bored or frustrated, you are in the manure. When you learn to step out of it, you're experiencing a detached attitude of objectivity. So when you're bored or frustrated, you're in the dirt, you're in the mud of your mind, you're in the mud of your life. When you learn to step out of it, you're experiencing a detached attitude of objectivity. That stepping out of it doesn't mean that it's not there. Boredom may be there, difficult experiences may be there, but this stepping out of it is that you're no longer seeing it as a subjective experience. You're no longer self-identifying with what you are experiencing. Oh, this is my pain or my desire or my fear. But it's just fear, it's just desire. So when you learn to step out of this self-identification with your experiences, you are experiencing a detached attitude of objectivity, just seeing things as they are without being moved around by them. When you see the obstacles from a distance, you can understand why I call them fertilizer. You can't expect to have a great meditation every day, but you can always create the causes for having one tomorrow. Just watch and don't get involved. You know it's a tough day today, but you just allow it to be. Let the energy flow into just knowing, into this passive awareness. Take it away from the controller, the arguer, the reactive mind. Just knowing, just breathing, just being aware. Take the toy away from this, this bully, this controller, this judge that's constantly showing up in our lives. This is good, this is bad, I don't like this, I don't like that, I want to go here, I don't want to go there. It's a nightmare. It's constantly taxing us, this big bully of self-focus, self-attachment. So take the mind, take the focus away from the controller, the arguer, the reactive mind, and instead allow whatever is happening to be the way that it is. Let that energy, that kind of stimulation, that kind of feeling of things happening, and your feeling that you could react to it, let the energy flow into just knowing. Passive awareness, open awareness. Let that energy, that reactivity, that friction flow into just breathing, just being aware. Take that energy, take all that endorsement, all that fuel from the controller, the arguer, the reactive mind. The more that you allow passive awareness to develop and just endure things without reacting to them, the more energy goes into mindfulness, into being aware of what's actually happening right now. Stand back. Don't grab hold of things, and don't try to push them away. Allow things to be, as you do with the clouds in the sky. In this way, you are channeling energy into mindfulness, into knowing, and all those negative states of mind just vanish. The mind becomes energized, empowered, and meditation feels easy. The more you react negatively to yourself or others, and the more you struggle, the deeper you get into a mess. It's like stepping into quicksand. The more you panic and struggle, the deeper in you go. In the same way, if you panic and struggle in the difficult moments of meditation, you sink into the quicksand of those negative states. So just allow things to be. Be patient and use the experience as an opportunity to develop wisdom, to develop a deeper understanding, a looking into what is actually happening, moment by moment, breath by breath. So in meditation, just allow things to be. Be patient and use the experience as an opportunity to develop wisdom. So whatever experience that we are having, boredom, anger, confusion, certain kind of bad memory, use it as an opportunity to be more and more aware of all aspects of that experience. We tend to feel bored and then we run away from it, or we try to change it, or we try to fix it. We tend to have that one memory or that one thought come up, and then we perpetuate it in the same old way, or we say, oh, that's that kind of thought, I better run away from this place. Look deeply into your experience at this moment, which is always changing, which is always refreshing, which is always restarting. Look into the feelings that are there in the body. Allow things to be. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to run away from it. You don't need to change it. Be patient and use the experience as an opportunity to develop wisdom, to develop bravery, to develop being at peace with complicated things that come up. And why should we be patient? Because it's not permanent, and it's not what we think it is. It's not ours. We don't own it. It's just causes and conditions. It's just something that's coming up, and it's going to pass away. If we can learn to be with it, to allow it to be the way that it is, our root system begins to recede from that memory, from that energy, from that habit. So we're no longer, the roots are no longer getting energy from that. Okay? The roots are going into just knowing, passive awareness. And over time, those roots are going to leave completely that area. And it's just going to be something that we experience, something that we know about. The more that you react negatively to yourself or to others, to those particular difficult experiences that come up in meditation, the deeper you get into the mess, the deeper your roots wrap around and dig into those experiences, those traumas, those difficulties, that boredom, that uh, stress, that anger. So we just don't grab a hold of it. We don't try to push it away. We stand back. We take a step back from any experience that we have at any given moment. And we just to be aware of it, present with it, patient with it, because it's not us, it's not mine, it's not I. There's no ownership. It's just an experience that comes up and is going to go away. So we don't have to be afraid of it. And when the wisdom starts to bite, when this insight starts to take hold that I don't own this, it's not mine, it's not permanent, it's not fixed, I don't need to run away from it, I don't need to fix it or change it, but that is just cause and effect. When this wisdom starts to bite, the problem just disappears. Anyone have a question about this so far? Or a comment? Something that's coming up? Gosia, you need to change your settings because I couldn't hear you. I still couldn't hear you, Gosia. Must be something deep in the settings.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how to understand the knowing. Is it just being?
Well, it's being aware. Okay, it's kind of like a mindfulness. It's to be aware of what is happening and to know that you are aware. So it's this
Okay.
knowing of it's practicing just breathing, just being aware, and then this knowing that that's what you're practicing. This knowing that you are being in the present, you are aware of what's happening. You're not stuck, you're not caught up, you're not tangled in any particular experience. You're in a state of knowing, you're in a state of awareness. So we stay with that awareness and that difficult experience, that memory or that environment, something in the environment, right, starts to happen and we feel that it's like we have this habit power, this habit to wrap ourselves up around that, to try and change it or fix it or argue with it. But when we notice that, when we're aware of that, and then we just stay with that knowing, we just stay with that being aware. The roots, they 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 recede, they come back, and so then we're just there in a state of knowing, being aware, doing our practice. We're not getting involved with it. We're not tangled up in it. And so this knowing is kind of a pathway for us to go deeper and deeper and deeper into our direct experience instead of getting caught up or confused about anything in particular, because it's the seeing that is real. It's the seeing itself that we're working with. What is seen is just an illusion. It's just a temporary, it's just a cloud. Okay, so we're staying with the seeing. The seeing is real. That which is seen is not real. It's just cause and effect. It's just stuff coming up and it'll go away. So the seeing is real. That which is seen is not real. So we can take this position and we can take this perspective of detachment, not being attached, not being entangled, and being aware. So this detached awareness is a kind of knowing, a kind of just seeing. And so we practice that, we work to integrate that through practicing just breathing, just being aware. And when we notice that our mind is starting to get tangled up in some thought or some past or some future or some, me, my, mine, we just return, we refresh, restart, and return to just breathing, just being aware of what's happening, never getting lost or stuck or tangled up in the content of what's happening. So we continuously have this doorway to a fresh start, to a new experience. But actually, this refresh, this restart, this new experience is returning to knowing. Because we get caught up, we get tangled up in a particular experience, a particular kind of reactivity or judgment, and then we're stuck in that, and we hit the restart button and we're just aware of what's happening. It's not me, it's not mine. It's not in the tangled. You take that step back from it. So when we notice that we're getting in the tangle, then we return our mind, our attention, our practice to just breathing and just being aware. But that knowing is continuous. That knowing is like a truth. That knowing is like truth itself. So we are just remembering what's already there. We're remembering disentanglement, but we couldn't get entangled anyway because it's not permanent. It doesn't matter how many locks or ribbons or ties or knots that you put into yourself, your body or your mind, it's not permanent. It couldn't be. But this knowing, this seeing is permanent. This awareness is permanent. It was here before you were born, and it's going to be here long after you're gone. And when we practice this just breathing, just being aware, we're kind of tuning into that. We're tuning the dial to that. But the more that we get into the habit of tuning the dial to it, to seeing, to knowing, then our meditation deepens and we're also more able to be detached, to not get stuck in temporary situations that we can't control anyway. So the knowing is like the seeing. It's also like just breathing, just being aware. What do you think?
Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, and it's all a practice. We work with it, we practice with it, we explore it. That's the work that we're doing. Okay. So this knowing and this faculty of just breathing, just being aware, is more talking about our wisdom power versus our willpower. So the willpower, and some people approach meditation this way, is I'm going to focus on my breath as much as I can and only going to focus on my breath and train my mind and have this experience, something like that. Whereas this wisdom power is a capacity to just breathe and just be aware, to just see things as they are, with nothing added, with no need to take anything away, because it's just seeing, it's just breathing, it's just being aware. And in this way, meditation evolves naturally. We don't need to use force. We don't need to use willpower, which is very limited in terms of what it can do. So we'll continue with the reading. When you start using wisdom power rather than willpower, not only do you get rid of the difficult problems and the negative states of mind, but you have more energy and you know how to take meditation to a deeper level. You know what the present moment is, and you know that the reason the mind wanders off is fault finding, saying, the present moment isn't good enough. I want it to be better. If you have expectations due to the good meditations you've had in the past, thinking, now it's getting close, here it comes, you've already blown it. Meaning that these expectations that we set up for our meditation are interfering with our practice of meditation. When you see this through your own investigation, it's easy to just leave things alone. So when we understand this through our own practice and through our own investigation, that like having this, that this moment isn't good enough, that I need something else or I need something better, that this isn't good enough for me. And then we find when we do meditation and we have that mindset that that doesn't allow us to go deeper. It doesn't allow us to open our heart and deepen our mind more and more and more. But actually that this expectation is interfering with our ability to be fully aware and fully present, and that it doesn't work. The expectation is a problem. So every time that we practice meditation, don't expect anything, don't seek anything, don't try and, well, I'm doing this and I hope I'll get this result. Nothing. Put that all down. Just the knowing, just this passive being aware. No controller, no arguer, no reactive mind, not feeding those states of mind. The point of meditation isn't to get deep concentration or a special meditation experience. It is to create the causes for deep concentration and deep meditation experiences to arise by themselves, and to create the causes for the enlightenment experiences that follow. Our whole focus is on creating the causes for these things, and that becomes our wisdom power. The causes for these things are letting go, kindness, and gentleness. So, our whole focus in meditation is to cultivate, develop, to establish ourselves in letting go, kindness, and gentleness. This is our meditation practice. You give all of your energy, body, and mind just for this moment, just for this breath. You let go and you give up, expecting nothing in return. Always remember not to look for results in your meditation. If you try to get something out of it, all you get is suffering. You are meditating to let go, to give up. You have no expectations whatsoever. So this is one of the main difficulties in really practicing this kind of wisdom-based meditation. not for our, our concentration bicep or our, our concentration bench press to be higher or stronger, so that we can fast for 3 days or something like that. But to really wake up, to really transform our suffering, our deepest confusions and misery and traumas, to transform them into happiness and peace, freedom. And it's why most people can't do this, because we're constantly in our lives, we're looking for results. I want to get this out of that. I want to get that out of this. This isn't good enough. I've got to go there. So it's a very different way of being from what most people are constantly doing and what we're trained to do from a very young age. So, the causes for awakening, enlightenment, deep meditation are letting go, kindness, and gentleness. You give all of your energy, body and mind, just for this moment each time that we practice. You let go and give up at this very moment. Expect nothing in return. Always remember not to look for results in meditation. If you try to get something out of it, all you get is suffering. You are meditating to let go, to give up. You have no expectations whatsoever. Letting go, patini sagja, Buddhist word, means giving and expecting nothing in return. Giving and expecting nothing in return. What a wonderful practice that is. We don't meditate to gain badges or attainments. We are not trying to get something that we can go and tell our friends about. I did a retreat with Ajahn Brahm or some meditation teacher, and I got this and I got that. We are trying to abandon our defilements. We are meditating for freedom. Meditating for freedom. No expectations whatsoever. Showing up to this practice, to this community, to this group, giving and expecting nothing in return. Showing up to your body, showing up to your meditation position, showing up to your body and mind at this moment as they are, and giving up, giving away, letting go of all of your desires and fears and I want this and I want that. Giving and expecting nothing in return. And this way of giving in our meditation is to practice the meditation method. It can be focusing on the breath, it can be this just breathing, just being aware. But this is our way of giving up, letting go, and we expect nothing in return. Expect nothing from your meditation practice. This is what's going to bring the greatest result. Does anyone have a question or something to share?
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
Um, about letting go, I guess, what was it, expectations or um during our meditation, how do we keep a balance of having the, I guess, a desire to meditate just enough to keep meditating while also not while also abandoning like expectations and not wanting anything out of the meditation and that kind of stuff.
Do whatever you've got to do to bring yourself to the meditation cushion. And once you're there, whatever you picked up, whatever you built up in your mind to get you there, put it down. That is the meditation practice. So it might be living in a community. It might be an idea that, you're going to get enlightened or you're going to get this experience or that experience. Whatever it is that gets you to that cushion, gets you to that Discord meeting, gets you to that temple. Great, good. But once you sit down, once you show up there, your only job, your only responsibility, the heart of the practice is letting go of any and all expectations, goals, anything. Just put it down. That's the practice.
Thank you.
Okay. How about Phoenix? You have a question? Oh, just typing there. Okay. You want to use your microphone, Phoenix? Okay, okay. Go ahead. You can type it. Anyone else have a question they'd like to ask or a comment on what we went over today? Okay, Phoenix says, I usually set the expectation for myself rather than what I am getting in return. So instead of thinking I will do this because I will get this, I think I will do this for the purpose of showing up. Showing up is the biggest thing. Once we show up, it's easy to give up, to let go, to sit down. Um, and when it's not easy, that's the practice. That's what we are to give up and to disentangle from and to be aware of and to be detaching from, to allow, to face. So let's all take a moment to adjust our posture, make sure that we're very comfortable and we don't have any major pains or anything like that. With no goal, with no expectation, no real idea of where we're coming from or where we're going. Finding the breath, the body, the heart, the mind at this moment, just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. So we are all invited to bring our hands together, kind of like a pray position, I guess. Most people know it like that. And it's an act of sincerity and presentness to this moment. And we can all chant together, if you like, this word sadhu, which is a traditional Buddhist word, which means wonderful, excellent, good job. And so we can chant that together in a recognition of the goodness of our practice and this activity. Give ourselves and each other a pat on the back as we end our session today. Okay, you can chant along with me. Sadhu. 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 Okay, fellow practitioners, fellow people on the path, um, thank you all for joining, for being here. Uh, we'll have tomorrow, we'll have a community gathering. Saturday, our later session will be a community gathering, discussion, sharing. So everyone is welcome for that. And then we'll have our regular meditation in the earlier session. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Take care. Very welcome. And I hope I'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Yeah.